Nobody would have blamed the Phillies for struggling after the horrible news about Zach Wheeler, but instead, they put up record-breaking numbers that you're going to have to hear to believe. This is MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Hey there, baseball fans, and welcome into MLB Game Night, every game, every night. I am JD Hafron, one of the hosts of Locked On Cardinals. Well, the host of Locked On Cardinals. I don't have a partner. With me is somebody who does have a partner. His name is Jon Frisch. He's one half of Locked On Angels. He's also a guy who still prefers briefs over boxers. Weird, bro.
Allegedly.
Coming up on the show today, Shohei. This is going to make John happy. Shohei struggles in Colorado. Cubs playing with confidence once again, and Houston may have a problem. Today's episode brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. In it for a chance to win a dream golf trip for two. All you got to do is visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters tournament. Ends October 31st, 2025. All right, good to see you again, John. Good to see everybody in the chat. Let's get rolling into this one. We're going to start with the Mariners at the Phillies in a series that has been all Phillies so far. Philadelphia looked to complete the sweep against Cal Raleigh and the Mariners on Wednesday. Jesus Luzardo and Luis Castillo, which on paper sounds like a pretty darn good pitching matchup, would be taking the ball for their respective teams, but it was the Phillies who would have a record-setting day on the mound and at the plate. Let's hear from Mark Fazzetta of the Locked On Phillies postcast, who's got the details on one of the best series in Phillies history.
The Phillies finish off the record-setting sweep of the Seattle Mariners with an 11-2 blowout victory Wednesday afternoon in South Philadelphia. First up, let's talk about the pitching. Jesus Luzardo comes up with 12 strikeouts. Christopher Sanchez had 12 strikeouts, and Ranger Suarez had 10. That's 34 strikeouts in this series, the most the Phillies have ever had in a three-game set by those three pitchers. Pretty impressive. Then when you talk about the offense, you talk about 48 hits in total in this series, including 20 in game three. That saw Trea Turner come up with 5 hits. He's raised his batting average 20 points over the last week. And Schwarber also, by the way, 45 home runs now as he capped off the Phillies offense in this one with a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 8th inning. Phillies get the sweep, and now they take on the Nationals starting Friday for a weekend series in South Philly.
Mark mentioned the 48 hits in this series against the Mariners. That's tied for the 6th most in any three-game series in franchise history, and their most since racking up 50, a 50-burger against the Cubs in 1999. 34 strikeouts from their starters, Suarez, Sanchez, and Luzardo, the most by Philly starters in any three-game series in the modern era since 1900. You add in the 12 strikeouts by the bullpen and the 46 Ks overall. Also, the Phillies most in any three-game set. John, it was Saturday that the Phillies got that terrible news about their ace Zach Wheeler going on the IL with a blood clot in his shoulder. We did hear some good news about him, though, didn't we?
We did, yeah. He had that successfully removed on Monday. The timeline for his recovery still TBD, so not really sure if and when he'll come back this season. But JD, I think there's something to be said about the Phillies stepping up after getting that terrible news, especially the starting rotation, considering these guys. I mean, Sanchez, Suarez, Luzardo. Sanchez and Suarez have been great. I know Suarez did struggle there for a little bit, but this Phillies rotation has been good for pretty much most of the season. I know Luzardo's had his ups and downs as well. So to see these guys step up in Wheeler's absence has been really awesome. Hopefully they got, I'm a dad, so we always tell my son we got to get the wiggles out, and hopefully the starting rotation got the wiggles out in those, the down times that they were having, like with Luzardo and Suarez. And Luzardo was just electric today. The 12 Ks, matching a season high, and just incredible stuff there. It's going to be interesting once they go back to Taijuan Walker, who did have a good outing last week. And it'll be interesting to see, what they do with that rotation. I know they had Mick Abel. They traded him away, and he was part of that rotation for a while. Maybe, and this is what you do when you're a playoff-bound team, you bring up somebody like Andrew Painter, who can help fill out the rotation and get you through to the end of the season and maybe make some appearances in the playoffs as well. So I think it's pretty cool that the Phillies rotation has stepped up. Hopefully they can continue to keep it rolling as they continue to finish up the season and try to stay at the top of the AL East.
Funny thing too is that, and I guess not funny if you're a Phillies fan though, is no mention of Aaron Nola, who is, they signed him to that big deal when he was set to become a free agent. They were like, nope, we're not letting him get out of Philly. And he's hardly had any effect at all in a positive way so far this year. Maybe he gets the ball rolling in the right direction. It's still, even without Zach Wheeler, which again, we wish him the best of luck and we hope he can come back, but everybody understands if maybe this is the end of the season for him, that, a guy like Nola, a veteran like Nola, he's somebody who can step back up and take charge and, become a leader in that rotation along with all those guys that you mentioned. So still a really good chance for them to do some special things this season. And again, this is against Seattle team as well that is supposed to be, they're not supposed to have any holes anymore. Everything's supposed to be fine, right? They got the bullpen. We got the rotation. We got our corner guys now. We're ready to go, right? Not so much right now. They're struggling a little bit, and, they get swept here by the Phillies. So Yankees at the Rays, or Yankees at, what do we call it? Yankee Stadium, Park
Yankee South. Yeah.
We can do that too. In addition to the Phillies, the Yankees also been swinging the lumber pretty darn well. Unprecedented day of baseball as well. A day after hitting 9 home runs.
9 times.
And going back to back for the third time this season. They look to take the 2-game set and pick up their 5th win in a row. We got Brian from Locked On Yankees on yet another historic day for the Bronx Bombers.
Yankees get the victory, a 5-0 road trip in their home, but not their home, but the Rays' home. You get the whole point. I'm Brian McKeon from Locked On Yankees. This was an unbelievable victory, and after Cam Schlittler took a perfect game into the 7th inning, you kind of thought this one's pretty much over, right? The bullpen's going to close it out. The Yankees have a 3-run lead. Not so fast. Tampa Bay comes back. You thought it was a walk-off home run potentially off of the bat, and Bednar almost gave it up, but it hit the top of the wall. Yankees get saved. They somehow win a game in extra innings on the road, which is something they never do, but they get out of it. Still a terrible decision by Boone to bring in Devin Williams. We'll discuss it on Locked On Yankees. Just because they won doesn't mean it's the right decision. We'll get to all of it. What an unbelievable road trip for the Yankees. 5-0 at the top position of the wild card.
Yeah, he mentioned the Devin Williams issue here. He allowed the Manfred man, as you like to call him, to score, and a double that put runners at second and third, but he was able to strike out the side to get it done. Camilo Doval and Mark Leiter Jr. were available, but Leiter had thrown, 13 pitches last night, and Doval has a 6.43 ERA in 8 appearances since coming over to the Yankees from the Giants. John, we've talked at length about these Devin Williams struggles out of the Yankee pen this year. Would you have gone to him if you were in charge of this Yankee team?
Well, we talked about it when they made those trades, like having Doval and Bednar at the end of your
guys
bullpen.
Who can be closers. You don't have to put them in those situations.
Exactly. And they went with Bednar to, get the save, and he didn't get the save. He blew it. He got the win, but he let the game get tied. And then that Doval number makes me pretty nervous, considering he's not been great since he came over. The Mark Leiter Jr. thing, the fact that he only threw 13 pitches, I hope it's not one of those situations where it's like, well, he threw 13 last night, so we can't do it again tonight. Like, come on. What happened to grit and gutsiness that these relievers used to have, that he could go another night? So, look, Brian knows, obviously he knows a lot more than I do about the Yankees. I feel like Devin Williams was kind of the only guy you had to go to if you weren't going to go to Leiter Jr. there. So, I understand the frustration because he's not been great, and he made it interesting at the end of this game, but came away with a win. I always say it. It's a W in the win column, +1. That's all that matters at the end of the day. I understand that Yankee fans might not be happy with that decision. But at the end of the day, you tried it with Bednar, and he should have got it done, didn't get it done. So you got to go to plan B. And I think plan B in this situation was Devin Williams. I'm still the Fire Boone stuff makes me laugh because again, they're playoff bound, but he still sucks.
Playoff bound, went to the World Series last year. Get him out of here, right?
Exactly.
I guess part of it too is like when you think about the human side of it, not just think of Devin Williams as just the pitcher who's struggling, but you think about eventually you got to get him into the fold doing something, and he's going to take a shot eventually with Williams and say like, all right, man, come on, we haven't given up on you yet. Let's get through this. And it's unfortunate that it keeps blowing up, every time he comes into the game, but I think Boone's probably just kind of like, we got to have faith and we're going to need this dude moving forward at some point. So we can't just like bury him in the 6th inning of blowout games or something like that. So, but hey, that's just me. Coming up, Shohei struggles against the Rockies? For real? We'll tell you about it next on MLB Game Night. Today's show being brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever wish managing your money just felt easier? Well, with Monarch Money, it can. That can be a reality. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money, it is more than a budgeting app, people. It's a complete financial command center. You can do a lot there. You can track all your accounts. You can track your investments. What about spending? Yeah, you can do that too. And you do it all in one place. You don't have to screw around with other apps or anything like that. It's all there for you with Monarch Money. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Once again, that's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB, for half off your first year. Heading to the Rocky Mountains. We got Dodgers at Rockies. This 4-game set is split so far, with the Rockies walking it off on Monday, and then the Dodgers end up coming back. They win the game big time, 11-4 on Tuesday. Dodgers are feeling better about themselves, right? They're like, okay, here we go. We're back on track. Oh, guess what? We got Shohei Ohtani on the mound too. He returns to the hill after his longest outing of the year so far against the Angels last week. But the Rockies were not impressed. They were not intimidated by one Shohei Ohtani, not even in the slightest. We got Harry Ruiz from Locked On Dodgers with some bad news for Dodgers fans after this one.
Another stinker by the Dodgers against the worst team in baseball. Best case scenario now, they split the series against the Rockies if they win tomorrow. And honestly, that's a big if, considering the way that they've played on Monday and on Wednesday. To make matters worse, Shohei Ohtani didn't look sharp on the mound, and then he took a line drive off of his right leg. He finished the inning, even took an at-bat, but before he could get another chance at the plate, he was pulled from the game. Not great news for Dodgers fans. And while all of this is happening, the Padres have a comfortable lead over the Giants. So yeah, there's a real chance LA and San Diego enter this weekend series tied at the top of the division. Things can get really, really interesting.
Does Harry sound nervous, John? Does that sound like nerves to you? Sounds a little nervous to me. They smacked around the 3-time MVP, the Rockies, to a 2-5 runs on 9 hits in just 4 innings of work. RBI hits by Brenton Doyle, Warming Bernabel, and Orlando Arcia, as well as Tyler Freeman, stake the Rockies to a 5-0 lead. They'd go on to win it by a score of 8-3. Every Rocky, all of them in the lineup, had a hit today, including Hunter Goodman, the all-star from Colorado, went 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. They'll wrap up the series on Thursday, as Harry mentioned. Colorado has won 7 of their last 10. And what do we say, John? Don't let the Rockies get hot, because here they come, baby.
Don't do it.
All right,
Don't do
Brewers
it.
at the Cubs. Good vibes have returned to Chicago. I don't know if you guys watch these games, but they are feeling pretty good about themselves. After taking both games of the doubleheader over Milwaukee yesterday, they had a chance to win the 5-game series with a victory today, but they'd have to do it against the Miz, Jacob Mizorowski, to do it. Here's Sam Olber from Locked On Cubs, from Wrigley, actually, went to the game with the results.
Cubs find a way to win another one against the Brewers by a final of 4-3. I'm Sam Olber from the Locked On Cubs podcast. It was a wild game at Wrigley Field. Crowd was going crazy. Matt Shaw had a huge day. Big 3-run double by Michael Busch. 9th inning got real interesting with Daniel Palencia. Walked a couple of guys, gave up a hit. and with the bases loaded and 2 outs, he was able to get William Contreras to line out to second base. Off the bat, I thought it was a 2-run single, especially with the way it's gone this year for the Brewers. Cubs find a way to win 3 in a row. They'll try and take 4 out of 5 tomorrow from the Brew Crew.
Life's better when Sam's happy. You ever notice that? Like,
I enjoy it.
Look at them. They're having a good time. Part of me wants to see him jump the ivy there and just run across the outfield holding one of the W signs. Just
with Go Cubs Go playing in the background.
Exactly. Well, with all the happiness Sam's got going on the other side, it's our buddy Chuck from Locked On Brewers on how Milwaukee's lucky break seemed to have kind of run out in this series.
Thought Team Lifeless, the Chicago Cubs, did everything, really, to help the Brewers back into that ball game. Brewers just couldn't take advantage after the Cubs sat on that lead. Hey, everybody, Chuck Freeman, Instant Reaction, Locked On Brewers. Left them loaded in the 9th inning. They snow-coned that ball at the finish off the game with the bases loaded. Contreras, man, those are the kind of breaks that have been going the Brewers' way. They haven't been. I'm telling you, it's down to 6 games. That is a pivotal game on Thursday afternoon. Look at that swing. The Brewers win. They go up 7. They lose. They come home. They come home with a 5-game lead suddenly in that division. Wow. Mizorowski had his issues. We'll talk about that. And a 3rd straight loss for the Brewers. All that later on tonight in the next edition of Locked On Brewers. Please subscribe.
You know, during the Major League season, guys will tell you because it's so long that things just kind of even out, and all of those good bounces that you kind of get and you feel like, hey man, we're untouchable. Eventually they even out and they stop happening and they start going to other teams. And then you're where Chuck is right now, where you just kind of like, like our mojo has run out a little bit, because not a lot of hits for the Cubs in this game. They had just 4, but they made it count with Michael Busch's bases loaded 3-run double, preceded by 3 walks given up by Mizorowski, who has had his control issues. Had it in his start against Cincinnati, couldn't do anything. Got clobbered in that one, and then not so good here in Chicago as well. John, we talked yesterday about how important it would be for the Cubs to pick up the win today after getting the 2 wins yesterday and win the series. They were able to come through and do that. On the other side, how do you think the Brewers are dealing with 3 straight losses?
Yeah, look, this is they've just been riding high so much so far this summer, right? You know, we were talking about how we laughed at, you know, how the Yankees destroyed them to start the season, right? And with the 3 back-to-back nights or homer nights, and now they've been riding high. They've been unstoppable. They hit 14 wins in a row, and then they lose 1, and then they get 1, and then they lose 2, and then this makes it 3, right? And so I look, they just got to keep doing what they're doing. One of the things about the Brewers that they do really well is take advantage of those mistakes that other teams make. Maybe the Cubs aren't making mistakes right now, and that's fine. These are 2 really good teams, and these are the kind of games that they should be playing. A 4-3 Cubs victory, that's pretty close, right? It shouldn't be 7-0 Brewers. It should look more like it's looked over the last 3 games, including the 2 from the doubleheader. So that's baseball, baby. It is what it is.
Yeah, as a baseball fan, I enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun to watch. So if you haven't watched any of the games in this series, might want to check that out. Mets at Nationals. Mets took game 1 8-1, and it seemed like everything was going to be all right with the Mets. But this is baseball, and as we discuss here, things can change and often do on a day-to-day basis. We got Ryan from Locked On Nationals, who, despite seeing his team win this game over New York, still isn't all that happy with the way things are going in Washington.
The Nationals got the win against the New York Mets, but they did so without achieving any of their second half goals that they have put on themselves. I'm Ryan Clary from Locked On Nationals, and in yesterday's game, we looked at the lineup and we talked about how Robert Hassel III and Dalen Lyle weren't in the lineup. Today, Brady House was not in the lineup, and yes, he has been struggling, but still, you have to start playing your young guys consistently. We did get the win. Brad Lord looked pretty good. And again, Dylan Cruz had another extra base hit today. But the Nationals, let's get this thing forward. You have to play your younger players. We are not contending for a postseason spot. I want to lose with the younger players. I also want to win with them as well. But with all that said, Brad Lord did look really good. And Jose Frere, again, continues his scoreless streak. He has been awesome down the stretch for the Washington Nationals. So There were some good, but also let's stick to the plan and play the young guys.
All right. Chris Schubert cast his thoughts on yet another disappointing loss for the Mets.
Kodai Senga looked good through the first couple of innings, but hit a wall in the third and the fourth. Left his pitches in the middle of the plate, all of them, and the Washington Nationals took full advantage. The Mets offense did try to rally, though, in the sixth. They scored 3 runs to bring it within a run, pair of opposite field doubles from Pete Alonso and Jeff McNeil. The Mets then loaded the bases, had a chance to not only tie but take the lead. They were unable to scratch a run across against this Nationals bullpen, one of the worst bullpens in the league. The Mets got 1 hit against that bullpen the rest of the night, unable to complete the comeback. They now holding on to a slim margin over the Cincinnati Reds for that third and final wild card spot. Will look to take the series from Washington, and they'll ask Sean Manaea to take the mound to do that tomorrow.
All right, so tight race there in the NL wild card. Houston, you have a problem, and it starts with the letter D. Find out what we're talking about next on MLB Game Night. Today's show is being brought to you by 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. It's time to fuel up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. They got flavors like grape, ginger, and lime are some of the favorites of our everydayers, whether you're out on the golf course or you need just that little extra push to power through whatever you're doing in your day. 5-Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the flavor that you love and gives you the energy that you need. And golfers, you know that, golf is all about the good times with good people and good flavors. And it's something where 5-Hour Energy Transfusion comes into play for me every time I'm on the course, because I just don't have the stamina to be out there for 18 holes like I used to. Was at another charity golf tournament this past weekend in support of the police officers who let us shoot a golf ball out of a rifle. That was freaking awesome. And if you ended up hitting the target, you got a hole in one. Very exciting stuff. And to keep the good times like that rolling, you get yourself one of these 5-Hour Energy Transfusions. Just buy, snap, and infuse your drink. And when you do, you'll have a chance to enter and win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament in the United States of America. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters tournament. Ends October 31st, 2025. Back at it on MLB Game Night. We're going to take you to the Houston Astros at the Detroit Tigers. Astros, they're struggling big time, John. They got shut out on Sunday 12-0. And then they got shut out on Monday 10-0. And then they got shut out on Tuesday 1-0. They'd like to win a ball game, sure. But heck, they'd love to just score a run for once. Well, one of those things did happen on Wednesday against the Tigers as the Astros finally got on the board in that 4th inning on Mauricio Dubon 2-run home run. Problem was, the Detroit Tigers were already up 7-0 at the time. Ooh. They would go on to win this one by a score of 7-2. The Tigers scored 6 in the 1st inning, not against some bullpen game either. This was Framber Valdez, one of Houston's best, if not the best. There's whether it's him or Hunter Brown is the ace right now, but they did it before they even made an out. They just came in
28 pitches before the first out. We're crazy.
Valdez didn't help the cause. He was all over the place in this one. He throws 2 wild pitches. He ends up walking 4 in just 5 innings of work. Detroit starter Charlie Morton seems immortal. He just keeps getting older, but doesn't change really. 6 innings, allows just 2 runs, 8 Ks, moves to 9-10 on the year. He's 2-2 since joining the Tigers. Tigers had that lull that we talked about right around the All-Star break, or coming back from it, where things weren't working out so well. Had us wondering if we should be full collapse radar should be going off at some point. Well, right. They've righted the ship, winning 8 of their last 10 and 3 in a row to sweep the Astros, who have now lost 4 in a row. Detroit moving forward. Got a lot of faith in them, John?
Yeah, I think they're picking up where they left off before they hit their little slump. It's like we said a few weeks ago, JD. This is the first time the struggles have come for the Tigers all season, and they weathered the storm. They're still at the top of their division, and that's really all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, now they're stretching it even further. I think they're up 10 now on Cleveland once again. So all's well in Detroit at the moment. Moving on to the A's at the Twins. A's take another one in Minnesota, and who else but Shea Bangaliers, my fantasy catcher, loving him, making a statement once again. You know what? Booney was so excited that he joined us from Locked On A's, got the details on everything that's going right with the Athletics right now.
I am pretty darn fired up right now. This is Boney from Locked On A's, and Shea Langoliers had a 2-run bomb in the 10th inning as the A's went on the road and beat the Twins 4-2. Shea Langoliers has been absolutely on fire. Tyler Stroderstrom extended his hit streak to 18 games with a double and a homer. In the last 24 games, the A's are 16-8, the best record in the American League, second best record in all of baseball. We are 10 games back of the final wild card spot. There's 34 games left. In order to get to 83 wins, the A's have to go 25-9. The type of ball we're playing right now, maybe. Maybe. Don't count us out. Why not us? Why not us?
I would never count them out. I love watching the A's games, and they're usually one of our late games normally. And their offense is just so much fun to watch. Like, I just enjoy watching these kids just hammer the ball. Like, it is awesome to watch. So if you haven't caught a game yet, make sure you check it out. Reds and Angels, your Angels, John. What happened here? Tell me you didn't get swept. Tell me you didn't get swept, John.
We didn't get swept, my friend. The Angels' long nightmare is over. They finally snapped their losing streak that goes back to 2019 against the Reds. It's a 2-1 victory. Here's the key, JD. They kept Elly De La Cruz off the bases with an 0-for-4 night and 2 strikeouts. With Yusei Kikuchi on the mound, who's a lefty, they made De La Cruz bat from the right side, his less productive side. And then the Angels kept him on that right side because they brought in Reed Detmers in relief to face him. All it took was an Angels Yoan Moncada home run and a Rengifo RBI single that scored Bryce Teodosio from third. Luis Garcia got the save in the 9th, who took over for Kenley Jansen. He's got some rib stuff going on right now, so that's why he felt like he gave up the lead in last night's game. So the Angels take this one 2-1, finally snap that 10-game losing streak again, going back to 2019 against the Cincinnati Reds.
Look at you guys go. I wish I had good news about my Cardinals, but things did not go well for us. Took the first 2 games of the series, won the series, but had to face an old friend in Sandy Alcantara, whom they traded away back in 2017 to the Marlins in a deal for Marcell Ozuna. Nobody was mad about that trade at the time. Now you look back at it and you're like, that was awful. Since then, Sandy has gone on to become a 2-time All-Star. He's won a Cy Young Award, and against his former team, got a 1.71 ERA and 7 starts coming into this one. He shoves against the Cardinals. He does it every single time. And once again, he had very little trouble ripping his way through the Cardinals offense. I'll let Jeremiah from Locked On Marlins let you know about this excellent start from Sandy against St. Louis.
That was vintage Sandy Alcantara. This is Jeremiah Geiger from the Locked On Marlins podcast. Sandy went 7 innings. He struck out 9, 114 pitches. It was awesome. The Marlins get the win 6-2, but the story of the night is all about El Caballo, Sandy Alcantara, his best start of the season. He's now put 2 really good starts together. He had the start in Boston against a good Red Sox lineup, and now comes home, and he dominates the Cardinals every time he faces them. This was no different. In the 7th inning, he strikes out the side. His last pitch of the night, his 114th pitch, he gets a swing and a miss for strike 3. Jumps off the mound. He's yelling. I'm hyped. The Marlins win the game 6-2. They salvage a game of this series. I love it. Let's go Fish.
See, I told you not to trade him. You hang on to guys like that. You do not trade Sandy Alcantara. Let us Cardinals people tell you, Miami, you hang on to people like that. And it's working out just fine. After a 7.22 first half ERA in 18 starts for Sandy. He has improved drastically, 3.56 second half ERA across 7 starts. Coming back from an arm injury, it does take time, and not everybody just bounces back and becomes awesome once again.
Right.
Go ask Spencer Strider how it's working out for him in Atlanta right now, coming back from an arm injury. Guardians at the Diamondbacks. Guardians held a 2-1 lead in this one until the 9th inning, getting a solid start from Parker Messick. But things didn't end the way that they actually wanted. We got Justin from Locked On Guardians on Messick's debut, and what went wrong in the end to fall to the Diamondbacks.
Louis Tiant, Herb score. If you are mentioned alongside them in Cleveland pitching history, chances are you're doing something pretty good. And that's what Parker Messick did in his first start for the Guardians. 6 strikeouts and 6+ innings. Those two and Parker Messick are 3 of them that have done it in their MLB debut. Unfortunately for the Guardians, they did not win Parker Messick's MLB debut. Justin Latta here from Locked On Guardians. Parker Messick pounded the zone with the fastball. He gave a run in the first inning, but really rebounded quickly. Got some swing miss the changeup, got weak contact, let his defense do the work, did a lot of great stuff in his debut. Pitched exactly like you would think Parker Messick would pitch if you've ever seen him pitch in the minors. Unfortunately for the Guardians, they scored a couple runs early and then stopped hitting. Their at-bat quality got way worse after that. Their approach went down the hill, and they never really had a chance to put runs on the board after that. And then unfortunately, Cade Smith gives up a home run in the 9th inning, and you need to score more runs to win. But you also need Cade Smith to come in and lock that lead down because the Guardians had the win. They needed that win, needed the series win. And guess what? Now they're in trouble in the wild card because the Royals are ahead of them, and they've lost 5 of the last 6. So they are in some trouble right now. They've got an off day before they head into Texas. We'll cover all that on Locked On Guardians. Be there.
Blue Jays at the Pirates today. Blue Jays starter Chris Bassett, 6 innings, just 2 runs, 10 strikeouts. Normally that would be enough for this Blue Jays offense, but not today. The Blue Jays scored just 1 run on a leadoff home run by George Springer. Ended up with just 3 hits on the day. Pirates didn't do much better on offense. Both of their runs came in the first inning as well on a 2-run double by my boy, Tommy Pham. Pham ends up getting those much-needed RBIs for the Pirates because the final score in this one was 2-1. Pirates take the victory. And good news for Pirates fans, top pitching prospect Bubba Chandler is reportedly getting called up for their series this weekend against Colorado. Giants at the Padres. Padres pound the Giants 8-1. 4 home runs hit by San Diego, 2 from Gavin Sheets, 1 from Machado, and another from Ryan O'Hearn. JP Sears, great start, allows 1 run over 6 innings. Fernando Tatis Jr., 2 for 4, but everyone's talking about the home run that he robbed off of Rafael Devers in the first inning. Kind of set the tone. It was pretty good. Padres now up 3.5 on the Mets in the wild card, just 1 back of the Dodgers in the NL West, so they are not going away one bit. Rangers at the Royals. Rangers got a leadoff home run by Wyatt Langford, only to see the Royals' Vinny Pasquantino launch a 3-run shot in the bottom of the first to take a 3-1 lead, but the Rangers would come back, tie it up in a Corey Seager RBI single, and then your man, Kyle Higashioka, I know you love saying his name, ripped the bases, clearing double down the line in left field in the 9th inning. Rangers win at 6-3. And then White Sox at the Braves. You've got 2 words for us, don't you, John?
I got 2 words for you. No, Hurston Waldrop, JD, the Braves rookie starter, picked up his 4th consecutive winning decision against the White Sox in a 1-0 victory. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 7 Ks. Listen to this. Coming out of the day, 0.73 ERA. And the only run scored was a Colson Montgomery error off a high chopper from Ozzie Albies that allowed Marcelo Zuna to score from third with 2 outs. It booted off the heel of his glove. But if you haven't heard of Hurston Waldrop yet, you might want to pay attention to what the Braves got going on there. Even though they're out of it, he's a good little pickup in fantasy if you haven't done so already.
Yeah, if you haven't jumped on him on the waiver wire yet, get over there now. Do it. And then you can thank John and I later. Thank you guys for joining us for this episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We hope you guys will come back and visit us next time on MLB Game Night. Every game, every night.